Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self-love, self-care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about coming of age and overexposure. I'm Lady Bounce.
I'm Kryptonite, y'all, looking like a hot mess. Looking like a mess today.
All right, so let's get into this Mindfulness Minute. Our Mindfulness Minute says, choose who you want to be. When we say that man chooses his own self, we meant that every one of us does likewise. But we also mean that in making this choice, he also chooses all men. Powerful feedback loops amplify the smallest thought, word, or gesture when they are telegraphed through time and space. Through real and virtual networks, a hall of mirror effects when we act in the smallest way, so that each person passes signals thousands of times over each day. This creates a field effect that lifts or depresses the mood of every person or entity belonging to the network. Because of the social nature of human beings and the interdependent nature of our evolution with other species, these networks are near infinite. With each interaction, we change the course of humanity and the future of the world. So today, choose for yourself who you want to be. Your choice ripples outward to all of humanity and to extra human nature as well. There is no opt-out clause for our involvement in the universe. Choose compassion, peace, and kindness for all beings. See goodwill rapidly enveloping all of humanity and nature as well. Realize your union with the whole. So as we recognize our union with the whole, everybody's talking about the movie Cuties. You watched it. What do you think?
I think people are losing their mind over some BS. If anything, I would say I was irritated with the end of the movie a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't really give a whole lot of clarity. You kind of had to guess about what happened. But that movie, quite frankly, is no different from any other little reality TV show that we see about these little girls getting dressed up in pageant gear and tons of makeup and tons of hairspray and going out here parading across the stage to be judged by men and women. You know what I'm saying? So I understand I think people really are quick to jump on this little bandwagon thing, man. They be on bandwagons and they don't even know what they be riding on. They ain't even sure.
Yeah, because I was like you said, all the pageants and stuff that we have, and then all these people came out talking about this is one step away from pedophilia, and this was a blueprint for child porn. I was like, what movie was you watching? Because I missed all of that. Like,
yeah, don't feel bad because I missed that too. Like, I mean, there was some provocative moves, you know what I'm saying, and the outfits was what they was. They was young girls and everything, but again, you know what I'm saying? Like, they not doing nothing. No, nobody else isn't doing. Our girls do the same thing. We still wanting to be like Rihanna's and Beyonce's, and they do the dance moves, and they want to wear the outfits, and they want to do all that kind of stuff too. You know what I'm saying? This, I don't think people really understand what this movie is really about.
Yeah, I think people missed the point because the whole point was about.
Oh look, I'm falling apart.
But the whole point of the movie was why this is wrong and why. We as, the older women in these young girls' lives, while we need to think about our actions and how they affect, these girls who are watching us. There's a time and a place for everything. When I'm in my car by myself, I'm listening to things that I wouldn't necessarily let my daughter listen to, But when she's in the car, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to play, Lil' Kim's first album, because some things she just ain't ready for yet, or some things I'm not ready to expose her to, which still goes back to the conversation we had about the Cardi B song and the Megan Thee Stallion. Like, I saw a mother singing a song and dancing to the song, and then her 7-year-old daughter was singing it and dancing to it too, and she popped her so hard. I was like, you can't sit here and tell her not to sing it and not to dance to it if you're singing it and dancing to it right in front of her face. So that whole, do as I say, not as I do, but I'm not showing you anything, better. Like, that's a whole issue in itself. So like that, to me, that's what the movie was talking about, is we need to be more responsible when, when we say like this.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
But I mean,
I think as far as the movie goes, I think as far as what you just said, that's just something that we as parents just need to do, period. You know what I mean?
Right.
As far as that movie goes, that movie, I don't think it was so much about that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess you could take that from that because, they couldn't emulate something that they hadn't seen before. But as far as that movie goes, though, I think that movie was just as far as the main character, it was a young girl that was confused because she was coming of age in her culture, but she wasn't coming of age in her environment.
Right.
And in a lot of ways, her environment and even in some ways in her culture, it was moving too fast. She was trying to keep up and she didn't know how. And I just felt like it was a movie about a confused young girl that had a whole lot going on and just didn't understand what was happening with her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like the dancing, she wanted to hold on to that. But some of the things that the director had the character doing, I didn't understand. Like, I didn't understand a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the one part where she in the bathroom and she snaps the picture?
Right.
I didn't get what that had to do with anything.
Because she was trying to seem older, and that was like right after they had that encounter with the high school boys, and the high school boys was like, oh, y'all just young girls. So she wanted to seem like she was older.
It wasn't even that. She did it at a time when she was upset. Like, she was mad when she did it because she had to give the phone back. It's almost like she did it in a way to be defiant and be like, I just didn't get, I didn't understand why that occurred. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get what that had to do with the situation.
Right.
Or the movie. I know she was saying, at the one point she was saying, y'all want us to be older, you want us to be older. And I know that she was going through something because her father was getting married and stuff, and she I don't think she understood what was going on. And then her mother is telling her, you a woman now, and her auntie like, I'm gonna teach you how to be a woman, but she only 11. She's still trying to process everything.
Right.
And I just thought that in a way the dancing gave her some freedom, and then it gave her some friends because she didn't have no friends either.
Right. Because she just moved into, that place. But there were so many things about it that, some things that, like the over, saturation of like religion, and we often think that if you submerge yourself in religion in whichever way, whichever fashion, that somehow you don't have to teach kids about other stuff, because she sat there in the church with all of those women, but none of those women were talking to those girls about, womanhood or even being a girl for that matter. It was just like,
But we can't even understand that because that's not our culture. Like what we saw in there, none of that is anything that we're going to understand. So we don't really know how they get down. We don't know how they go about teaching their girls how to be women or what they expect or anything like that. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because what we saw her doing was the Westernization. You know what I'm saying? Of the world. That was the influence of America upon the world. So, as far as like the part about I get what you're saying about the religion, but it's more than just a religion, a different religion. It's a whole different culture, a whole different way of thinking and living. You know what I mean? Right. So I don't really, Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of weird too, as though she was possessed or something. I don't know. It was just. I mean, the movie was. I had some questions. You know.
What?
I mean, I watched it, but I had some questions. I couldn't understand a few things. It just wasn't vibing right.
Yeah, I was saying that too, and I'm like, I don't know if it's because she was trying to do so much with the film that she didn't properly explain some of the pieces, you know, like the part about the picture, or like, because I'm goofy, I was like, how come dude ain't noticed that his phone was gone for like 2 weeks? Like, where was, you know, like.
Yeah, like at some point you didn't get the phone turned off,
right, you didn't
go get a new one.
Phone. Yeah, I was confused.
But maybe it wasn't as long as we thought it was. Maybe, I mean, but it couldn't have been. It couldn't have been as long as we thought it was, because with everything that was happening, it had to be a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? Or did it? Was it? I don't know.
See?
That might have been a longer timeline.
Right. It was all, you know, and, you know, like the whole part even about like the dad, you know, and the second wife and everything, like that wasn't like totally explained. You could tell that the wife wasn't okay with it, but then her aunt was like, oh, you're going to straighten up and go to this wedding, and and I'm like, wait a minute, auntie, hold on, because.
See, that's that whole different religion thing jumping off. That's something we don't have no understanding for. Cause you can't come to me, husband, and be like, hey, I'm bringing a new chick home. That's how it's going down.
I mean, you know, hold on though. Let's not discount the whole sister wife thing, because 2 people to cook, 2 people to wash dishes, extra bills. I mean, I'm just thinking about it logistically. I'm just saying, don't knock
it. You go ahead and you do that, cause I'm gonna let you know now. I am an American, and therefore, thus, I am selfish and do not believe in the sharing of the penis. You know what I'm saying?
There's that part too.
I mean, you gonna share 9 times out of 10. You probably sharing and you just don't know you sharing. But that's cool. Keep me in the dark. You know what I'm saying? My ignorance is my bliss. I need not know these things, because if I find out, we got problems, issues, and situations. We don't want that.
Nah, I guess we don't want that.
We don't. I'm saying, who wants that? Nobody wants that.
Okay, so
anyway, back to this look, yeah. So America is up in arms about this pornography, the children, oh my God. But y'all sit up there and watch that dang on reality show. Which reality show would you like to choose? What's that one with the little princesses?
Tyler's and Tiara's.
There we go.
I mean, pick one.
Yeah, Tyler and Tiara's Dance Mom. Who's Mama June done got back.
Oh, that's Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah, it's okay then. There's that one. And then, I mean, come on, man. Like, y'all, what the heck?
So then, since we know that this is a thing, how do we, like, what do we do about it? How do we not make it be either such a thing or make it so it's not so taboo when you see it? Like, we have this
it's gonna be taboo. It's gonna be taboo when you see it, because it's children doing things that seem sexually explicit. You can't hide it from them. It's everywhere. It's all over the internet. It's all in the video. It's on the street. It's in the house. It's everywhere. Their friends do it. Their mama do it. Their grandmama do it.
Man.
Everybody. It's something that everybody is doing. The thing is to talk to these girls and let them know that they first of all, if dancing is what we calling it, then let them be free to dance. Now, if the issue is that they're being promiscuous and fast and they dancing with the intention of getting a man's attention, well, we really do need to have a conversation like that. We really do need to discuss why these are your motives and why do you think this is okay. Because some girls are dancing just because they love to dance.
Right.
And it's not their fault if your dirty ass man can't stop looking at them sexually.
Well, there's that piece. I think it's a twofold issue. So there's that, you have to control your thoughts and everything. But I also think that these women who run these dance troupes have a responsibility There's so many amazing things that your body can do. Twerking,
especially when it's young.
Right. So twerking doesn't necessarily have to be a part of your dance routine.
You know what? I think the problem is, the issue is what you're wearing while you're twerking. If you twerking in a full pants outfit, ain't nobody really gonna be too mad. But if you got on booty shorts and a tank top and you got cleavage hanging out, well, some people gonna be pissed off at you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you are, I think the issue is that a lot of these, if you really want to talk about what's sexual, let's talk about these outfits that they got out here for these kids. Why they got hip huggers made in toddler size? Why is a toddler wearing a hip hugger? Why are 8-year-olds wearing hip huggers? And it's not even so much that parents are going out and buying these clothes. That's what they make.
Right.
They make these clothes that way. They make it to where you go out. There was a time where I could not find my child a pair of jeans that wasn't hip huggers.
Right. I mean, I've had that same issue too. As you know, I have a teenage daughter who has, she started developing. So as she's developing, her clothes need to be a little bit bigger in certain places. And going to the store to find her clothes like that, it's just not possible. Like I can't find her, that aren't skinny jeans, that aren't super tight. Do they just make regular jeans anymore? Do they just make, regular bras? I went to take her bra shopping and every bra is like lacy and sexy and opening in the front, and I'm like, wait a minute, we're not ready for that yet. Some of those.
Oh, did you need me to print or
Yeah, if you could print.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nikki. I'm listening.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Okay, you too. Bye. My bad. That was unexpected.
Hey, it's live TV. Things happen.
Hey, you know it. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm killing two birds with one stone right now. So, my bad. Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, as far as like looking for clothes and even, I work in a high school, the girls wear a uniform. The girls have trouble finding uniform pants that are just pants. Like everything is so tight. I'm like, these are uniform pants. Why are they snug and hip hugging? So unless they go and buy Dickies or get pants from the boys section, then we like, well, you can't tuck your shirt in because you got a little extra hip action going on. And, the boys, shouldn't be, touching you or thinking about you in that way. But that is what men do. Like, it's a male thing. And for teenage boys, they can't control their hormones necessarily. Now, grown men, that's different. But
listen, look, teenage girls can't control their hormones necessarily.
Right.
We seem to forget that as we are growing up, we become a mess of hormones.
Yes.
There are times where puberty kicks in quicker for some than it does for others. And then we end up and we say, oh, my child has changed since they became a teenager. They so different. They act so different. They not the same. They used to be so sweet. Now they so this, they so that. They horny. They walking hormones. They walking hormones. They got these new feelings that they don't know what the heck they are. They not sure what's going on. All they know is last week Peter got on their damn nerves. But this week Peter seems something about Peter has changed and he looks cute. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't know what's happening. They just know. The only thing that they can say is that something is different, but they don't know what. And then instead of us talking to our children like they are the young adults that they are growing up to be older adults, we want to keep them in a child's place. But children don't stay children.
Right. Now,
they grow. And there's an in-between.
I'm fully and totally with, children growing and changing, but I also think that because we know that these kids are a walking ball of hormones, I think we as a culture, they're overexposed. They're overexposed to too much and too soon. So they already have these hormones and these feelings that they don't know what to do with, but then everything in their face is, sex.
That is why they are supposed to have parents. people that can guide them and help them navigate through these situations. If you see that your child is changing and you see that your child is maybe a little bit more outgoing than they was, you know what I'm saying? Instead of us talking about, oh, you being fast, oh, you doing too much, find out what they looking at. Find out ask them, what you thinking? What's on your mind? How you feeling? You know what I'm saying? Ask them about Peter. See if they still don't like Peter. You feel me? I mean, ask them, and go through their cell phone. Look. When I found out about mine, it was because I went through a cell phone. You know? And the conversation is not necessarily going to go well at first because, of course, they're going to be defensive because they done got caught with some BS. And then they also feel ashamed because you weren't never supposed to know about it. And now they feeling some type of way. But you got to get past that. And you have to say, look, I know I'm your mom, but even before that, I am a woman. And I remember what it was like being your age and feeling this and feeling that. That's the conversation I had with my kids. You know what I mean? But before that, there was some issue. Before that, it was like, why you going through my stuff? You ain't paid for nothing. I bought this phone. It's my phone. It's on loan to you. I allow you to use it. Therefore, whenever I want to go through it, I can do so. But the thing is, though, when we go through and find the things that we are looking to find, we can't go off the deep end and beat them and call them whores and make them feel bad about being human. We got to talk to them. We got to let them know, hey, look, you are a rose. You are a treasure. Don't let nobody tell you no different. Don't let nobody tell you that you're not special. Damn it, you are. You know what I'm saying? Don't let nobody make you feel bad about not giving up. You shouldn't give it up because you shouldn't give it to nobody that don't deserve it. And if he can't wait for you, then he don't deserve it. You know what I'm saying?
Those are those age-old conversations that, that for some reason.
Hey, we didn't. And not all of us got them conversations.
Right.
You feel me? Not all of us got them conversations. So if you can give your child that conversation, then that's the conversation you should have. You feel me? Like if that's where you are, you can do that. Because Lord knows we don't all get them conversations. We don't all get the conversation where we get to sit down with somebody that's older than us, but willing to listen to us and really willing to. Lord knows how our lives could have changed if we'd had something like that going on.
Yeah. Or, just somebody to take the time. I think one of the issues that our kids have now with not having anybody to sit them down is that so many of our parents are still trying to live their best life. So they're not even realizing that while you over here doing the things that you're doing, little Timmy is really going through some things because you still trying to live.
I don't even so much think that and then maybe it is some of us are trying to live our best life. Because, it may just be that some just don't know. I mean, some just wasn't taught and they just don't know. Some people just don't know.
Yeah, because you can't teach what you've never been taught.
Right, exactly. You can't teach what you ain't never been taught. So then, I think that sometimes we as parents have a bad habit of expecting our children to know things already because we already know them. We feel like they should know them too. Or we feel like somehow they should just miraculously understand and have this all-knowing universal knowledge of how things are supposed to work. And I think a lot of times we get so caught up in our own bullshit that we forget our kids is going through bullshit too. And they, and you can be the most open, wanting to have a conversation parent in the world. That don't mean they're gonna come talk to you.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta start them conversations.
Buy a book. If you can't have a conversation, buy a book. I will buy a book in a minute.
Whatever.
And then say, if you have questions, we can talk. Or if there's something that the book didn't explain, but age-appropriate books. I'm not buying, like I know when my children were coming of age, I got them like the body book for girls and the body book for boys, because I know that there are things that you're going to want to know that you're not going to want to come ask me because you're going to be embarrassed or it's going to be awkward. And I know me as a mom, depending on what it is, I just might be jumping into 12 feet deep in And you're not ready for that. You know, I mean, I admit that as a mom, that some of the stuff I'm not ready to have the conversation with you about. Now, you may totally want and desire said conversation, but I have to recognize my shortcomings as a mom and say, hey, I'm just not there yet to have that conversation, but here's a book and we can talk about it after you get finished with the book. I'm working on that. I mean, my kids they're pretty old. They're 16 and 20, so I ain't doing too bad. But a lot of parents,
by now, I'm sure you've had some conversations anyway.
Yeah. But, I mean, when I see a lot with my day job, I see a lot, so I try to keep my kids from a lot of the things that I see, the things that, kids are exposed to that they shouldn't be exposed to. I do try to, like, not show him all of it, like, you'll get a piece. You don't need to see the whole thing right now, but that's because I see the effects of not having those conversations, of not.
Yeah, I think even in some situations, I'm saying, because not everything needs to be explored, but I think in some situations, even when you do show them some of those things, as long as it comes with an explanation, you know what I'm saying? As long as you are there to have a conversation and explain to them this, that, and the third for whatever reason, before you just leave them to translate or figure things out on their own, some things that they see need to be explained. When I used to stay over on the west side and stuff, when crack, before crack died down for real, and there were still crackheads over there and stuff. Now it's meth heads. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But there was still people that were smoking crack. You know what I'm saying? I used to. Hey, don't be like that walking skeleton out there. That person ain't living. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we had those conversations with movies that we will watch. You know what I'm saying? Especially if there was a movie that I felt like had a lot going on. I explained it to them. I couldn't stop them from watching movies. I was always at work. If it was something they really wanted to do, they could do it. I mean, I gotta say, and I said it before, I was really blessed. My children never really went out exploring and being crazy and being wild. Lord knows they could have, because I was at work.
Right.
I was always at work. You know what I'm saying? So those conversations were valuable. Those conversations need to be had. I remember one time I was talking with Brene. She was sitting next to me in bed, and we was having a talk. And she said, "Mommy, why we always having these talks, and why you always talking to me like that?" And I said, "Because, baby, one day I'm not going to always be there to talk to you. And even when I'm not there, I still need you to be able to hear my words. So, if it's something that you're thinking about doing, maybe if you might hear my voice telling you not to do it. Because it's something that you shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely. Those conversations, those talks, that stuff matters, y'all. All of that matters. In the end, they listen. They really do listen. You know what I'm saying? We thinking they don't listen, but they listen.
They do. So it's funny that you said what you said earlier about, if you're not ready and a boy is, don't care what he thinks. So that brings us to our self-care assignment. It wraps up with a bow so neatly today.
Well, all
right. Right. So don't care what others think of you. We constantly seek acceptance from those around us and try to find satisfaction from the approval of others. But in the end, we still feel empty. You may dress a certain way or do certain things to fit in with those around you, but all you achieve is changing yourself. The secret to becoming a happier person is to relinquish the need to impress others and to realize that the only person who needs your approval is you. Sure, it's nice to be praised for your work and it's nice to make your parents proud, but those shouldn't be the main reasons you do what you do. Everything you are and everything you achieve should only be for you. Pleasing others is an added bonus. Boom. So, of course, we have to end it all with some brain science, because that's how we do it here. So,
you got it.
I got it. I do. So sexualization of young girls is linked to common mental health problems in women and girls, such as low self-esteem, eating disorders, finding our value in sex and hyper-sexualization, which gives us a false sense of what we bring to the table. We often think that we bring our bodies to the table and that's all we have to offer in a friendship or in a relationship, with a man. So those things, when that cloud comes crashing down, crushes us, crushes our spirits. And then we think that in order to gain back that value that we are missing, that we need to have more sex and dress more provocatively to bring back that value that we're missing. Where all we really have to do is love ourselves, which is what we do on our show. Have conversations.
Read a book.
Have a conversation. And, trust yourself. You're not always going to get it right. But if you're listening and you're trusting yourself and you're trusting a higher sense of self, you're always going to be okay. And that right there, trust yourself. You know who you are. Be who you want to be. And
maybe they aren't being who they are, who they want to be, and that just happens to be a hoe. No, I'm just saying.
But we don't want to make that the ideal. How about that?
Well, at least not for the cheerers. We don't want the cheerers. No, let's not let the cheerers be. Look, I gotta take this off. It's getting on my nerves. Let's not let the cheerers be that way. It was driving me. At least it don't look as bad as it did. I'm about to handle this, y'all. I'm about to do it. I'm working on it.
Well, when we let Kryptonite go get that hair together, you can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on SoundCloud, Instagram, and wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can always email us at flywithusla@gmail.com. I'm Lady Bounce.
I am Kryptonite, y'all.
And we out of here.